So we got Echo and the Bunnymen, and the
Yep.
track is
Heads will roll.
Heads Will Roll.
Yeah, you're damn right they will.
Yeah, easy. I know you're celebrating the Jubilee thing, but I don't want to let that whole monarchy
Off
heads
with their
roll
head!
go to your-
Off with their head!
It's showtime, folks.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Into the Music. I'm Andy. You know that's John, and you know why we're here. We're getting into some music. And I believe that, John, sir, you've got another song for me to sink my ears into. So what say you, sir?
Yes, I have. I've got a song by a band who were very well known in this country. I do not believe they really translated across the pond, perhaps, but I don't think so. The name of the band is Echo and the Bunnymen.
Okay. I know this band exists. I know this band has sort of a cult following and reverence to them. And I know that they've been cited by artists. Again, this is becoming a reoccurring theme with me and John, and me and you and me and Greg, is that there is this, these are the artists that inspired the artists that I happen to listen to. And I haven't yet got around to listening to them to see how that translated, that inspiration. So this is a great excuse to do it again. And I'm looking forward to it. So we got Echo and the Bunnymen, and the track is
Heads Will Roll.
Heads Will Roll.
Yeah, you're damn right they will.
Yeah, easy. I know you're celebrating the Jubilee thing, but I don't want to let that whole monarchy
Off
heads
with their
roll
head!
go to your-
Off with their head!
All right, bud, cool. I'm going to go give it a listen, and I will report back with my findings.
Good luck.
Hardly politic, heads will roll. Mostly politic, God must call till the winning hand does belong to me. No one's calling. God then must be falling. If I ever met you in a private place, I would stare you into the ground. That's how I articulate.
I don't know if it's just me, but for some reason, whatever that guitar is doing kind of reminds me of like this, I don't know, like Middle Eastern type sound to it. It's really interesting. I'm digging it.
On my face. What if no one's calling? God then must be falling. What if no one's calling? God then must be falling.
No, I like that. That was interesting. Musically, yeah, I did. I mean, it wasn't what I expected. I'll say that much. Uh, but I liked it. The levels a little iffy for me at points, but musically really sound. And with a name like that, I wonder what this number is about. So I'm sure John will shed light on this for me. I have returned.
Well, congratulations on that.
Yeah,
I know it wasn't easy.
No, it was tough. It was tough going from here to here. But through all the trials and tribulations, I've made it out on the other side, and the song is still fresh in my head. Man, this tapped into some sounds, some otherly sounds. This is very like, I don't know if it's like a Middle Eastern quality or like this Arabian kind of feel to it. Loved it though. God, it was so good. So that was really captivating. To the point where, I mean, a song with the heads will roll and a soundscape like they were going for. I really wanted to hear the lyrics. Like, what is this all? What are you doing here? What's this whole equation equal? So I got like, is it mostly no, partly politic, heads will roll, mostly politic, God must call, out. This is gonna be another one of those moments where I misquote the song and you totally make an ass out of me here, but or I really make an ass out of myself and you highlight it. Till the winning hand does belong to me was sort of the next line that I caught. Started to get lost in the music again because it was so captivating and different sounding that I just adored it. But yeah, interesting. This sort of, I don't know, like you've got politics, God, and heads will roll all happening very early in the song. So it's, it's about something, and that those three things are involved. But I don't know the true meaning of it beyond that. I mean, I have slight ideas, but I hope you can inform them later. And then some sort of, at some point in the song, there's like this, again, this kind of Middle Eastern like orchestra, or like at least a quartet sounding of like stringed instruments that are bolstering the sound. Though I didn't really see any evidence of that from the video. You had other guys playing musicians, but none of that was really shot. But ears don't lie, you know what I mean? That's definitely what I heard. And I guess like if you said guess what this song is about, I would say, is it somehow inspired by, and forgive me, but I'm just doing simple math here in my head, like through Crusades? That's where my brain took me. Like this idea of like that style of music and God's involved and heads rolling and politics are involved. So everything in my head just went, oh, this reminds me of everything I've ever read about or learned about the Crusades. And then finally, musically, the end, as it's bringing itself to the end, really loved the flourishes on the drums that the drummer was doing. They sort of added this, gravitas or culmination type feeling to the end. But yeah, no, I really, really liked the song.
I'm just struggling to remember the link that I gave you. It did have them playing in like an empty building, and they were getting
Yes,
shots
and there was like this
outside.
shot out of a window up to a larger
Yeah.
building, or like this pyre on it, like this, or this like beacon on a building or something like that. And I was trying to see, does that have like religious imagery? And I was also like, don't be wildly offensive in your assumptions. So I'm just like, I will wait to learn about this before before I put my foot in my mouth. So
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm glad you liked it. I'll go through a bit of the band. I mean, Echo and the Bunnymen were a band that everyone I knew got into in the early 80s, and they were hugely important as an indie band, as it were. Just to give you an idea, where are we? Oh, here we go. I've got here too.
he's gone over to the records, folks. He always goes over to the records.
So I haven't got I've only got their sort of first period, but I've got this much of theirs. Um,
That's
so
quite a
yeah,
chunk.
yeah, and that's just their first period, as it were. Um, well, a hernia put to back.
That's what you get for showing off.
But so I'll break into the. No, I'll tell you about the song first. Okay, so this is actually an album track, but it's always been one of my favorite. There's about this album, Porcupine, is my favorite Echo and the Bunny album. It's not everybody's favorite by a long way. The one after it is, but I absolutely adore this. It's slightly darker than some of the other stuff. It's more dramatic. Everything about it, I absolutely love. It's got some of their best songs on there as well. They discovered this new sound, which had these Eastern strings, as they call them. And they're credited to one guy called Shankar. And I don't know if it's just him arranging it or if he's got his mates in as well to do it. They did it on this and a few other songs, particularly there's a song called The Cutter, which was their first single that got into the top 20 in the UK and really signified a certain amount of commercial success for them, limited, but still they were regularly in the top 20, top 10 with their singles for the next sort of 2-3 years. It's a great song. In terms of meaning, not sure. I include the video showing them because I wanted you to see what they were like then as well, to give that sort of context. And because the sort of feel of them as well and the way they perform was really important. So they're a Liverpool band. They were formed in 1978. So they're coming out of that post-punk into new wave. They were with Garova Records, which I think I'm not sure if I mentioned to you, but it's an offshoot of Warner Brothers, and the Sound were on the same label at the same time.
Okay.
The main guy who's a lead singer is Ian McCulloch. He's known as Big Mac or Big Mouth. He was very, very vocal in interviews in terms of how wonderful they are, in terms of they produced the best ever album. And he reckons he has got the second greatest voice after Frank Sinatra. And it's all this bluster, and it's very, some of it's tongue in cheek, some of it isn't, and it's very funny.
It sounds very professional wrestler like.
Yeah. I mean, they were great. There's no two ways about it. The guitarist is Will Sargent. I've just ordered, it hasn't arrived, I was expecting it today, but I've just ordered his autobiography, so I'm really looking forward to going through that. He grew his fringe long because he had a very acne-ridden forehead, and he was embarrassed about it. So for the first 4 or 5 years, whenever you see them performing or whatever, his hair's down like that, and you never really see his eyes or his forehead, and that's the reason, which I thought was quite funny. The guy on the bass is Les Patterson. Now they formed as a trio, 1978, and then rumor has it it's never been officially confirmed. Echo was the name of their drum machine, so that's why it was Echo and the Bunnymen. But anyway, 2 years later, Pete DeFreitas joined on drums. So they knocked out 2 albums, Crocodiles, which is one of the greatest debut albums of that era. It's really, really good and assured. Some great songs. And then Heaven Up Here as well. So that was 1980, 1981. And then 1983, Porcupine.
And this is off Porcupine.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's only their 3rd album. They've got a really full sound. It's very interesting. After this, they did an album called Ocean Rain, which I'd say 90% of their fans think is their masterpiece. And it has a much fuller sound, lush. There's orchestration in it as well at points, but it really, some epic songs on there, which are amazing. They then sort of transferred, I think is the word, from Garova into Warner Brothers mainstream for their record label, and they produced a self-titled album in 1986, which has some decent stuff on there, and then they promptly split, just as they were starting to make the serious bucks. They went for a few years, and they've reformed since. They came back with a great album in the let me think, early 2000s, would it be? I was definitely with my missus, but I can't remember if I was married or not at the time. I went to see them one of their first gigs when they reformed at the Kilburn Theatre, and it was intimate sort of 400 people, and we were right by it, and it was just amazing. They're all backlit, and he had this huge sort of charity shop overcoat on, and his hair's all sort of slightly spiky and stuff, but they're all in silhouette, sort of doing their stuff, and all you can see is this orange glow of this cigarette. And it was so cool. But anyway, I digress. So they had a hard time doing this album. Their manager was a guy called Bill Drummond, who is notorious for being, how should I say this, out of the box thinker or just plain batshit crazy. He later formed KLF, which was again a notorious band themselves in the UK. They burnt £1 million in cash on stage as part of their art foundation. They did all sorts of crazy stuff. So they were struggling with this. He said the band were thinking about splitting up because there was in-house fighting. So he had a great idea. I'm going to send you to some really wild and remote places in Scotland on a tour, and that will solidify everything. And it didn't. But here's the cool thing. If you join at the points of their tour in a line, it forms a massive set of bunny ears. That's how we planned the tour. So, as I say, out of the box thinker.
Yeah.
It's so cool. So, yeah, I'll get into the song. My take on it is that it's about mortality. Ian McCulloch, doesn't reference his work very often, apart from saying how wonderful it is. But he did say that this album he struggled with because it was the most autobiographical album that he wrote. And he said he was coming to terms with all the opposites inside him. I don't know if that's a clue or not, but I think it's about mortality. And there's some people who've mentioned that this is basically almost Pascal's wager, that, I don't believe in God, but if I find out that God's alive when I die, then I'm screwed. So I'm going to believe in him just in case he does exist,
Right.
And it's kind of about that. So I'll whiz through the lyrics quickly, and I don't think it makes more sense or not. You're pretty much spot on with the first bit. So party politic, heads will roll. Mostly politic, God must call. Till the winning hand does belong to me. What if no one's calling? God then must be falling. If I ever met you in a private place, I would stare you into the ground. That's how I'd articulate the value of my face. The value of my face. And then it's what if no one's calling? God then must be falling. So there's lots of different theories about this. I think one of the things is him struggling with, it's kind of this mortality. And is there something there? Is there not? What do I do? Blah, blah, blah.
Yep, that old chestnut.
Well, I think it's just a cool song, and I love the breakdown in it. I love the influence of the Eastern strings, and it is kick-ass. There's great guitars in it. The whole band actually really, really good. So I thought this would be and it's not one of their most famous songs, but this is an album track. So if you imagine this isn't one of their better ones, how good their other stuff is.
Yeah.
And I thought that you may be able to hear stuff in this that has been replicated through the years or influenced. There's definitely, you can hear this has influenced other bands along the way. And this is kind of like the roots of some of those sounds from the 90s and 2000s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. You can definitely hear that. You can, and you can tell they're pioneers too, because you don't hear a lot of that sort of tapping into other sounds. And when you do, it's bands like the Beatles or something like that. I couldn't help but in my head laugh when you said they're from Liverpool, because I'm like, oh, here's this band from Liverpool tapping into, this sort of Ravi Shankar type, just tapping into a whole nother culture sound. I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting how it repeats itself sometimes. But yeah, that was, I loved every bit of it, man. It was a great tune. And now I'm going to want to sort of maybe check out a couple of their hits. If this is this is sort of like a little, album track and not something they got radio play or anything like that. I'm going to have to go check out some of the stuff that was enjoyed by the masses.
I mean, I'm sure people watching this is probably knowing our channel and the comments from the different people. There'll be a lot of people who are familiar with Echo and the Bunnymen. But if you're not, there was an album that dropped in, I guess, 84, 85 called Songs to Learn and Sing. and it's basically their singles from their indie years, and that is where to start. Most definitely, songs to learn and sing. Every person that I knew had that album and devoured it completely. So that's a great place to start, and then from there you can then pick up on the weirder shit.
Okay. Excellent. Good advice. I
Right.
love
Well,
that.
I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for sharing it, man. I'm gonna hold on to this one.
Nice one. Do you want to take us out?
Sure. Everybody out there and into the music land, thank you so much for joining us. Thank John for the awesome suggestion. And if you'd like to like, share, subscribe, leave some comments, please let us know what you guys know about Echo and the Bunnymen, and maybe some anecdotes that can sort of add or help educate me. But until the next time, we will see you on the next episode of Into the Music.
Bye bye.